Mini Beast Safari. Big Bear was reading a story to Little Bear on Oakley's hill. "What's that you're reading, Big Bear?" asked Oakley. "It's a book about wild animals," replied Big Bear.
"Lions, tigers and elephants,"
shouted Little Bear excitedly as he growled like a lion. Grrr! Little Bear wanted to see some real elephants. Big Bear explained he would have to go on a safari to look at wild animals in places where they live. Little Bear liked the sound of that and wanted Big Bear to take him on safari. Rosie wondered where Big Bear and Little Bear were going. Bluebird explained they were going in search of lions and tigers and showed Rosie her special book. Rosie knew there were no wild animals in the garden, but she had an idea. Will and Holly were playing a remembering game. "Try to remember as many things as you can," instructed Will as he covered the table with a cloth. Holly tried hard to remember, but she had to give up. Will was the winner again. "There must be an easier way for me to remember," sighed Holly, and she decided to make up a remembering song. Rosie and Raggles made animal footprints in the sandpit. "They look just like zebra tracks," declared Raggles. "Or an elephant," he added, as he did his best elephant impersonation. Little Bear spotted the animal tracks with his binoculars. Big Bear and Little Bear followed the tracks. Then Big Bear spotted something moving behind some bushes. "Animals!" shouted Little Bear. They had to be very quiet so they didn't scare them away. But it was just Rosie and Raggles making prints for Little Bear to follow. Little Bear was sad that there were no wild animals in the garden. Suddenly, Little Bear spotted something interesting with his binoculars. It was an anthill with lots of very busy ants marching in and out. "Ants! Ants! Ants!" shouted Little Bear as he danced around the anthill. "So there are wild animals in the garden after all," declared Raggles. "Mini beasts." Holly tried out her new remembering song during her game with Will. The song didn't help, so Holly decided to write things down in her notebook. Rosie arrived to ask Will and Holly to help with the Mini Beast Safari. The friends found purple beetles, ants, and caterpillars. Rosie and Raggles found snails at the stream. Holly drew pictures of insects, and Will spotted a beautiful butterfly. Even Oakley helped to catch some ladybirds. Little Bear loved looking at all the mini beasts they had collected. Will suggested making a mini beast zoo so they could see them whenever they wanted. Big Bear didn't think the mini beasts looked very happy in their jars, so Rosie suggested giving them some treats.
"I don't think snails like strawberry milkshake," pointed out Big Bear. "And carrots are a little too crunchy for butterflies."
Holly had made some fairy cakes, but Big Bear said they were not for caterpillars. Back in the house, the mini beasts started to escape. They wanted to be outside in the garden. "Beastie's gone!" cried a disappointed Little Bear. The friends ran around trying to catch the insects. Holly was tickled by a cheeky ladybird. Raggles used his butterfly net, but only caught Little Bear.
I think they escaped because they are homesick,
said Big Bear. Will wanted to look after the mini beasts, not make them unhappy. Let's take them all home, suggested Rosie. Will remembered the ants lived in the ant-hill. Raggles remembered the caterpillar lived on the bush. And Little Bear took the snails back to the stream. There was just one last ladybird to find a home for. Luckily, Holly had written it down in her notebook, and she remembered the ladybird lived on Oakley's bark. And Little Bear remembered he could visit the mini beasts in the garden anytime. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. Make sure you come back soon for more stories with Everything's Rosie